The sun had barely risen over the crowded streets of Rome, yet the air already carried the smell of sweat, waste, and fear. You wake up on a cold stone floor, your body aching from yesterday's labor, your wrists still raw from the iron chains that never truly leave your skin. Around you, dozens of others shift in silence, their eyes hollow, their hope long gone. No one speaks much anymore. In a place like this, words have no power, only obedience does. You were not always like this. Once, you had a name that meant something, a life beyond these walls. But in Rome, none of that matters. Here, you are not a person. You are property. And property can be punished, in ways that break not just the body, but the soul. A loud clang echoes through the corridor as the guards approach. Instantly, everyone straightens, fear tightening every muscle. One man, barely able to stand, collapses to his knees. He worked too slowly yesterday. That alone is enough. The guards don't hesitate. One grabs him by the hair, dragging him across the floor as he screams, his voice echoing through the stone halls. No one moves to help. No one dares. Outside, the punishment begins. You're forced to watch. That's part of it. In Rome, punishment is not just about pain, it's about sending a message. The man is tied to a wooden post in the center of the yard, his back exposed, trembling under the weight of what's coming. The whip cracks through the air before it even touches him, and when it does, the sound is sickening. Flesh tears. Blood spills. His screams grow louder, then weaker, then desperate. But the guards don't stop. Each strike is precise, controlled, almost routine. This is not anger. This is law. Around you, others look away, but you can't. If you do, you might be next. The man's body begins to fail, his legs giving out as he hangs from the ropes. Still, the punishment continues. In Rome, mercy is weakness, and weakness has no place here. By the time it's over, the yard is silent again. The man is no longer moving. Whether he is dead or simply broken beyond repair doesn't matter. To the guards, the result is the same. They cut him down and drag his body away like discarded waste. No burial. No respect. Just another life erased. And then, as if nothing happened, the day continues. You're ordered back to work. The sun climbs higher, burning your skin as you lift, carry, and build under constant watch. Every movement must be perfect. Every second must be used. Because here, even the smallest mistake can lead to unimaginable punishment. A dropped tool. A moment of rest. A look of defiance. Anything can be enough. You begin to understand the truth of Rome, not the grand temples or the powerful emperors, but the hidden reality beneath it all. This empire is built on fear, on suffering, on punishment so brutal that it keeps millions under control. And as the day drags on, one thought refuses to leave your mind. If this is what they do for a small mistake, what happens to those who truly disobey? The question stays with you long after the sun begins to fall, creeping into your thoughts like a shadow you can't escape. You try to focus on your work, on the rhythm of lifting and carrying, but your mind keeps returning to the same terrifying possibility. If a small mistake earns a beating like that, then true disobedience must lead to something far worse. In Rome, punishment doesn't end with pain. It escalates into spectacle. By the next day, you find your answer. The guards wake you earlier than usual, shouting orders with unusual urgency. Chains rattle as you and the others are forced into a line, pushed through the streets of the city. The noise of Rome surrounds you, vendors calling out, citizens moving about their day, but there's a strange energy in the air, something almost excited. People are gathering, whispering, pointing. You don't understand at first, until you see where you're being taken. A large wooden structure stands ahead, rising above the crowd like a grim monument. Crosses. Dozens of them. Some already occupied. Your stomach tightens as you're forced closer. The smell hits you first, blood, sweat, and decay mix together under the heat of the sun. On the crosses, bodies hang in unnatural positions, their skin torn, their faces frozen in agony. Some are still alive. You can hear them, faint breaths, broken moans, the last desperate attempts to hold on to life. A man next to you whispers under his breath. He says these are criminals, rebels, slaves who tried to escape. But you quickly realize the truth. It doesn't take much to be labeled a criminal in Rome. Sometimes, all it takes is being in the wrong place, or angering the wrong person. The guards push you forward again, forcing you to watch as another prisoner is dragged into the center. He's barely conscious, his body already beaten beyond recognition. Still, they aren't done with him. Not even close. They strip what little remains of his clothing and throw him onto the ground, pinning his arms out to the sides. The hammer appears, heavy and unforgiving. You feel your heart pounding in your chest as the first nail is driven through his wrist. The sound is worse than the scream that follows. A dull, crushing impact that echoes in your head. Again. And again. Each strike feels slower than the last, as if time itself is stretching just to make the moment last longer. The crowd watches in silence, some with horror, others with a disturbing sense of fascination. This is not just punishment. This is a warning to everyone who sees it. When they lift the cross upright, the man's body jerks violently, the weight pulling against the nails. His breathing becomes shallow, uneven. You can see it in his eyes. He knows what's coming. Crucifixion is not quick. It is slow. Painfully slow. Hours, sometimes days, of suffocation, exhaustion, and unbearable agony. And Rome wants everyone to see it. You're forced to stand there longer than you can bear, watching as life slowly drains from the bodies around you. The message becomes painfully clear. This is what happens when you resist. This is what happens when you fail to obey. But the horror doesn't end there. As you're finally dragged away, you pass another part of the city, one filled with even louder noise. Cheers. Shouting. The roar of a crowd. You catch a glimpse through the massive stone entrance. And what you see sends a chill through your entire body. An arena, filled with thousands of people. Inside, two men stand facing each other, armed and ready. Gladiators. One looks terrified. The other, already wounded. The crowd doesn't care. They chant, demand, hunger for violence. And when the fight begins, it is fast, brutal, and merciless. Steel clashes, blood spills, and within moments, one of them falls. The crowd erupts. You don't stay long enough to see what happens next. You don't need to. You already understand. In Rome, punishment isn't just about control, it's entertainment. Suffering is not hidden here. It is displayed. Celebrated. As you're pushed back toward your place of labor, your body feels heavier than ever before. Not just from exhaustion, but from the weight of what you've seen. The truth is clearer now than it has ever been. There is no escape from this system. Because in Rome, pain is not the exception. It is the rule. By the time night falls again, something inside you has changed. It isn't strength. It isn't courage. It's something quieter, heavier. The realization that in Rome, survival is not about living well, it's about lasting one more day without being noticed. You keep your head down, your movements precise, your thoughts hidden. Because now you understand the full truth. Punishment here is not random. It is constant, calculated, and always waiting. Days pass, though they blur together until time itself feels meaningless. The same work, the same fear, the same silent suffering. But then, one evening, everything shifts again. A guard calls out a name. Not yours, but close enough that your heart stops anyway. The man they pull forward looks no different from you. Same chains. Same exhaustion. Same quiet desperation in his eyes. His crime. They say he stole food. You watch as he tries to explain, his voice weak, his words barely forming. Maybe he was hungry. Maybe he was starving. It doesn't matter. In Rome, need is not an excuse. It is a weakness. And weakness must be punished. This time, they don't take him to the yard. They take him somewhere worse. You and the others are forced to follow, pushed through narrow corridors beneath the city until the air grows colder, heavier. The sound reaches you before the sight does, a low, unsettling growl that doesn't belong to anything human. Your steps slow, but the guards shove you forward. There is no stopping now. The gate opens. And suddenly, you understand. The arena is above. But beneath it lies something far darker. Cages line the walls, thick iron bars holding creatures that pace back and forth with restless hunger. Their eyes glow in the dim light, locked onto anything that moves. You've heard stories, whispers passed between workers late at night. Prisoners thrown to beasts. Death turned into a show. Now you're seeing it for yourself. The man is dragged to the center, his legs barely holding him up. He looks around, finally realizing where he is. Panic takes over. He tries to pull away, tries to beg, but the guards don't even react. To them, this is routine. A gate creaks open. The growl becomes louder. What happens next is over in seconds, but it feels like forever. The creature lunges forward, a blur of muscle and fury. The man screams, a sound so raw it cuts through everything, echoing off the stone walls. You want to look away. You try. But just like before, you're forced to watch. Because this is the lesson. This is Rome. When it's over, the silence feels even worse than the noise. The guards close the gate, already turning away as if nothing important has happened. Another life gone. Another warning delivered. And just like that, it's finished. Or at least, for them. As you're led back through the corridors, your legs feel weak, your mind struggling to hold on to anything solid. The images won't leave you. The screams won't fade. And for the first time, a terrifying thought settles in completely. There is no bottom to this. No limit. No mercy. Back in your place, you lie awake on the cold stone, staring into the darkness. Around you, others try to sleep, though you can hear it in their breathing. They're just as awake as you are. Just as afraid. Because now you all know. In ancient Rome, punishment was not just about justice. It wasn't even about crime. It was about power. About control so absolute that it crushed anyone beneath it without hesitation. Slaves, prisoners, even ordinary people, no one was truly safe. And the worst part? Tomorrow, it all begins again. The chains will tighten. The orders will come. And somewhere in the city, someone else will be chosen. Someone else will suffer. Someone else will become the next example. You close your eyes, not to rest, but to escape, even if only for a moment. Because in Rome, life was never truly yours. And that is